Hello and welcome to the Sound Dance Festival Artist Talks. My name is Beatrix Joyce. I'm a performance artist and dance writer based in Berlin, and today I'm joined by the artists of the piece Spazio Aucu. So before I start asking my questions, maybe you guys could briefly introduce yourselves.
So I'm Annukka Hirvonen, I'm a dancer, choreographer, and yes, now also in this piece doing some video editing, which was a new challenge. I'm not a professional in that, but was interesting. Yes, based in Berlin.
Yeah, I'm Roberta Ricci, dancer, choreographer, performer, teacher. I come from Italy, and but I'm based in Berlin. Yeah, now from almost 7 years.
I'm Michael Tieke, part of the experimental music scene in Berlin, and did the music for this piece.
Great. So, as I understood it, you were actually, before the pandemic hit, you had created a live performance, right? And then you transformed the work into a video work. So I wanted to ask you about this process and how you made the decisions you made and what it was that drove them initially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It started, it was completely different. What came out before was a stage performance, and so we transformed it completely in a video concept. So starting from the idea, then we and also using some images that we had about it, and we started to work in different locations, for example. But how we put all things together was also a process we didn't know before. We just decided, okay, it's nicer to make something that is made for be watched online.
Right.
So, and then we started and we work on different things, and only in the end we decided the order or how to create the whole also dramaturgy of the video.
Yeah, there was this question because we knew we can use the theater space, but we also just didn't want to make like a documentation of a performance, but also add some elements that work as a video in themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think some of the decisions were really driven by necessity, technical necessity, because some of in the live performance we used a lot of darkness and cell phones as light objects, and we noticed with the performance we did, that was just filmed for documentation, that doesn't work. Right? Yeah. So we had to come up with practical solutions for these kind of things. But then in the process also, we didn't keep it just like finding solutions for what we did in the theater, but also added things that actually were new and were part of this searching on the way and finding new things. And so it transformed also the original performance.
And that was also in terms of sound then? So when you say you added new things, do you mean like in the kind of music you were making? Or?
Yes, in parts. I was able to use some of the music I had already created, especially for this more installative cell phone situations. But then part of the music I play anyway live and improvised, so I prefer to do it on the spot, new. And then now also with the possibility to work a bit on things not live with music, so I created also some tracks that were overlaying clarinets, which I couldn't do live usually. So.
Okay.
So there's some parts that is also new, and also from the idea new to the concept.
Yeah. And you also mentioned in an earlier conversation we had that you were under quite strict regulations, like the social distancing regulations. I mean, I find that also, that must have, I'm wondering about that because it must have been quite difficult, you having a duet that was actually quite like intimate, or, that included a lot of touch also. How did you maintain that relationship, but then without that kind of physical element?
Yeah, I think it was somehow interesting also how we came to the working process. Like we came from this quarantine situation, and starting from there was also like the state of the body was already more internal. So it became a little bit more like solo work side by side or something like that. This, and we had to exclude all the contact that we worked with before. So. Yeah.
And we had to keep the clarinet player really out of the field.
Yeah.
There's even more distance rules for that far.
For wind instruments.
Yeah, for wind instruments. So, I mean, I usually move on stage with them, but that was not possible. Otherwise, I would have chased them just into the chorus.
So you had to stay still.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage of that was that I could really do proper recording, because that's when otherwise doing live and moving, that's always a problem to record things properly close enough that let's say the detail of sound doesn't get lost, and that was at least that part was good for me. That was just sitting in front of microphones and could record properly.
Yeah, I noticed that you also played quite a lot with the lighting, in that you had these like kind of boxes, and I was wondering, did that also reflect your situation of kind of being independent spaces somehow? Or
I think it was more, was fitting with the situation, but it comes from before also this playing with dark and light, and also the title, like Spazio Rado Aucchio, is the Italian Finnish.
Can you translate it?
Glade, like this open space in the wood, and then I think this contrast, not only about light and dark, was all the time coming out.
It was also connected with the concept of home, so a kind of architecture in contrast to some sort of inner state of home. So. Yeah, everybody can read it how they want, but it can be tracked to that theme as well.
I'm quite interested in this concept of home. Like, what was your initial idea when you started working with this theme?
Was a theme that we both we find ourselves many times talking about this. Like, this home as an inner space, or this space that many times is covered by other things of life, or can be many things, family, society, or and then we just decided to explore more and to work around this concept or topic.
I mean, I always think it's a bit of like a guideline for the process, even though maybe there's not, I mean, at least to my perception, there's not like direct translations of this. It's more like finding qualities of this and during the research and then kind of integrating them in the work. Also, I think we might have different concepts of what this concept of home is. So I think it's also a very, very personal thing that's kind of was like an underlying stream for the research, but not in sense to really translate it into something concrete. So.
It's also a very wide thing, wide. It can be geography, it can be architecture, it can be your personal nature, can be metaphoric. Metaphoric or cultural understanding of what it is. So it all lives in sort of layers inside the work.
And did you have like many conversations about like home in parallel to your kind of movement and sound explorations, or was it mainly something that you just took as a shared kind of point of reference? Or I'm wondering that.
I would say more the latter. So it was,
Yeah.
I mean, at least, I mean, maybe you two would talk more between you, kind of. I think it was more. And part of for the music, it didn't really inform very directly what I chose to do. So
Okay.
it was more related to the situations that we then developed out of that process.
Also, what I found quite exciting about the video is that you took it into the forest. It makes a lot of sense with the title now also. So you went into the forest and continued your movement exploration there. Is that right? How was that?
It's just, I mean, I think in the forest we started more, again, thinking about this contrast of, performing in the theater or going somewhere else. And of course, it's connected, the idea of being in the nature. But in terms of movement, we just, was naturally transformed. Because we, of course, inside of us, there were all the work we did before. But also it was nice to see that there it became very still or very calm, very, like there is not so much movement, for example. So just was more being there, and the whole work that was behind or inside was coming, but in a very soft way, or just with the nature was kind of taking the rest.
Yeah, it was really informing the surroundings, was informing how our bodies started to move. Actually, we filmed from the beginning already, so we just went and we started.
Yeah, exactly.
And just then looked at what we had.
Yeah.
And it was quite intuitive how we entered that part.
Yeah. Totally.
You were also recording some things there.
Yeah, I did record, but I didn't use them in the end. But
You were also there in the forest?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
in the beginning. I even filmed it, but that was a bad idea. But I recorded it also. I think it was good to just, since it's a collective process. I think we don't work like each.
No, yeah.
I mean, a bit, of course, is her own field, but it was a lot more about taking collective decisions and trying out things collectively. So I thought it was a good idea to be there, and also the same thing with the music. Then to have this like an ongoing process of presenting like sketches of what we do and be able to discuss that. To keep it a collective thing.
This time we really took the choice. We were all the time together, actually, all the three of us.
Yeah.
In the version before, we were also more just us working on the movement, also because we were more away. But now it was really nice that we got really into a trio place.
Yeah, I also liked how when you did film in the forest, there was quite a focus also on the environment. Like it didn't feel like it was like too, I don't know, it wasn't just following the movement. Somehow it was really giving you a sense of like the whole space. For me, it was like really quite like this kind of magical, mystical nature, kind of nature and the female body, let's say, and then it was this kind of sudden, quite pure, sharp contrast with the architecture, with the light boxes, and also because you were wearing black in nature and then white inside, let's say. Was that a kind of a deliberate choice, or was that something that...
It was, but without underlining it too much. So it was also something that appeared, but without trying to make black and white this kind of...
I think in the beginning it was more searching for contrast or something that's not natural to the nature.
Exactly.
And then from there, I mean, we didn't decide at that point, so it should be black-white or whatever. But it was more like trying things out, what worked best, and then as a result, we did first the forest filming. As a result, in the theater, then we came up with other choices.
It was also maybe could be also a visual choice. Or we looked at the black in the nature, or it looks nice. Okay, it has some meaning,
It's
but
the aesthetic,
yeah. And here also but it has something also behind that without having to elaborate it too much.
And did you find that these different environments also influence your movement and your playing in different ways?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. As I said before, in the forest was everything very calm and very, not so much movement. And in the theater also the old element came more naturally, or it's not similar, it's not the same, because in the last piece, last piece, and in this one we had a structure, but not all the time exactly the same material. But here was coming more the old also into the body, like more movement, more body moving and feeling the space empty, kind of.
It's also somehow the understanding of time and space in the forest is very different. It's more circular in a way.
Yeah.
And then when you are in a theater, or in a kind of architectural space, it's immediately a different environment that affects how you deal with rhythm, with your body in the space, all these aspects. So definitely.
And also, I mean, in the nature, I think also the sound, the music influence a lot, and in the nature, we had the nature sound, and
and to say that I use a field recording of nature in the end of the piece, but that was actually already in the original version before we came up with the idea to go into the forest to film. I think there were a few things before that were actually already like a seed that led to this decision. I mean, the promo photo you did before for the version you did in the forest, and also parts of the cell phone things that also have to do with nature. So it was kind of some of it was already there before, and then this nature decision became influenced by that. But somehow, then didn't feed back because it already was there.
It actually opened some really nice new doors for the work. This aspect of video that we didn't really think about so much before. And now
in what way? Do you have an example?
Like just that you can film something in a location and get a visual impression that in the theater is not really possible that way.
In terms of perspective,
or just like that we had the work, we didn't use, for example, a video projection, and now the aspect of really having video material from somewhere else is a very nice, just another layer.
And I heard that you edited it together.
Yeah.
Was that also new for you to work with editing, or have you worked with editing before?
Quite new.
Quite
for
new.
Everybody, I think.
I mean, it was quite new, and also the working the three of us together is it make it longer maybe.
We still talk to each other, so
on the lunch break we went to different directions, like, okay, bye, see you, have an hour. But it took a long time. But we were really good. In the end.
I think this of course it would have been nice and practical to do it with an external person, but then noticing that we had just the amount of material that was just not doable to do that with somebody else. And also I think the whole thing was a process, so we filmed with having a direction, an idea, but not really knowing what then of that we would choose or what the direction is, and we could only find that out by doing this editing ourselves. I think otherwise we couldn't have given a direction to somebody else before doing it ourselves before. So then
there what was really nice, we have a sort of similar sensing of composition or something.
Yeah.
And this was also in the video, so we would look at something and then we are all like, no. Or everybody, oh yeah, that's quite good. So yeah.
You're quite like in line.
Somehow
Yeah.
this sort of intuitive way or listening or something of putting things together, it was also the same like playing on stage
Yeah,
when
exactly.
doing this. So it's composition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you described also, it was really a trial and error process,
Yeah.
intuitive thing. So
Yeah.
but then that fits also the way we anyway work, improvising. So I found it was a nice parallel to that. So yeah, we have to have an idea, a direction, but then the rest is worked out in the moment.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're probably, we're running out of time a bit, but just before we finish, I'd be really curious to know whether, when the pandemic like kind of breezes over, let's say, and things change, and we get to do live performances again, would you consider incorporating this video in your live work? Would you consider taking it with you maybe and experimenting with it on stage as well? Or do you really see it as like a separate thing that was, a pocket of time and then you go back to doing live work?
You mean same performance, incorporating in the performance
For example,
video?
yeah.
Parts of it.
Yeah, I think part of it, for example, doing this new work, like transforming in video, it opened up many other things. So I think it would be nice to incorporate, but separately, like not taking the entire video, because I think it's made now, as it is now, is made as a complete video.
Yes.
So I think if we can play again like normal with the audience, then it's nice to put inside the video, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But for sure, it was nice to experiment. So I would like to use it also. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of trying it out
Yeah.
and see what we could use or even produce new things that we could. Now with the experience of doing the film, there could be a direction. Maybe it is, maybe not. I think it's. We just finished the work.
Yeah. Maybe it's too early.
It's like a step for some time in the future to think about that.
Yeah, I would be interested. Like I said before, I feel like it opens new possibilities or new visual impressions and things. And some elements that we transformed into video from stage, for me actually work even better as a video than on stage, but this is a matter of taste, of course.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. It was really great to get more of an insight into your creative process. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks to
Thank
you.
you.